the sixth solar plane of the Lord Mlyhyhia, Archangel Metatron, the Corbh solar plane, shimmering indigo with silver, the Crinhala ray of universal knowledge. I shall continue my description of the solar planes today. Thus do I come to the sixth solar plane, the Corbh plane, with its Lord Mlyhyhia. I would have you think of this plane as resembling a great university. The inhabitants of the sixth solar plane wear the cloak of knowledge, the indigo cloak, with the silver underrobe, and as they pass from colleges to temples, they would present to you a sight of great studiousness, the great Corbh ray of knowledge, and by that I do not mean the limited knowledge of earth, but the knowledge of the universes of God, brings within its beam, medicine, music, engineering, science, and mathematics, but rid your minds of your small calculations and figures as represented on paper. All these things pass first through that sixth plane of my beloved brother Mlyhyhia, who is the outstanding figure in the Corbh plane, always robed in silver, a cloak of material resembling your velvet, and around his head the circular headdress of knowledge. As in the solar planes already described, there is no sleep, it is not required, so work goes on unceasingly for God, through God. The great circular temple in the chief city of Amansis is never empty. It is constructed of a substance resembling agate, with streaks of indigo, paler in some parts than others. There is no roof to the temple, so that those within can look at the universe and see God. Ever the stone of worship burns the sweetly perfumed flame of knowledge. From the top of the inverted triangle the flame burns as on the Arc de Triomphe in Paris. The flame is fed by oil extracted from plants and herbs. It is not allowed to dim, it never sinks and is always constant in its dimension. The walls of the temple curve inwards at the top and the overhanging portion is supported by a circle of finely twisted pillars made of crystal, and through the core of these twisted crystal pillars runs an indigo thread. Around the stone of worship there are always masses of blossoms of every color with a predominance of blue, from the pale blue of the forget-me-not to the deeper blue of the delphinium. As I have told you before, the inhabitants of the solar planes always begin their duties by a rite in the temple first. All the buildings in the sixth solar plane, dwelling houses, colleges, halls of learning, are made of the same substance as the great temple. The atmosphere is as clear as crystal, scintillating with silver dust, which is the silver ray of the beloved Josiah's, passing from the first solar plane through the sixth solar plane, all for work for God. There is no speech, only a language of thought, and the understanding between the inhabitants and Mlyhyhia is far greater than if there were the spoken words. So a great silence pervades all, a deep harmony of peace and quietness, yet the activity is tremendous. The great colleges laboring in their work for God are packed with students, teachers and masters, but no sound, only an occasional sigh of breath, and music from the organ in the great temple, which, on account of the atmosphere of the solar planes being so pure and clear, issues from the open roof to be heard all over the Corbh solar plane. This ray gives off a perfume of exquisite beauty. The nearest to it in your tongue, carnation, pervades over all. It is the perfume of Mlyhyhia, which is in reality an essence of the indigo ray of knowledge, sent out from the transmitting tower. The children and adults are androgynous, and even the children are trained gradually to manipulate this great cosmic ray for God. It is they who spiritually leave this solar plane, to impart knowledge to children on yours and other planets in this great universe of God, and in particular to Earth, because it is the children who understand gentleness. In a period of time equivalent to one of your weeks, my beloved brother Mlyhyhia holds great meetings of all the inhabitants of the Corbh solar plane, within the great colleges to learn of the beauty of their ray, to learn how to impart it to the planets. Intricate problems are abundant, such as those to be found in mathematics, but the mathematics of the solar planes, time in eternity, etc., not your man-made figure calculations. There are other problems on music, and the meaning of color. Such a variety of subjects is studied which pass through this great adept of God, thereon to God, and to this universe for God. At every corner of the thoroughfares in the Corbh solar plane there burns the flame of knowledge upon a tripod, to remind its inhabitants through love, that it is necessary to keep knowledge burning, that it must never diminish for a moment of time, and as each one passes that flame, they bow, not to the flame but to what it represents, the mind of God.